In the year 2674, humanity had spread across hundreds of worlds. Cities floated above clouds, colonies mined the moons of Saturn, and the Galactic Council called humans the Builders of Light. Yet one night everything changed. It started as a normal observation shift at the Sol monitoring station. Technician Mira Den was sipping cold coffee when her sensors went dark. The main telescope that always showed Earth now displayed empty space. At first, she thought it was a glitch, but when she tried to reconnect the feed, all instruments showed the same impossible reading. There was no planet between Venus and Mars. Mira froze. She rechecked every calculation, replaced every data core, and even rebooted the system. Nothing. The blue world that had birthed all of humanity was gone. Within minutes, the alarm spread through the outposts of the Solar Federation. Satellites searching for Earth detected no explosion, no radiation, no debris. The moon still orbited the invisible center as if the planet was there, but nothing reflected the sun's light. News spread fast across the galaxy. Earth has disappeared. The message reached every corner of human space. Panic grew in colonies from Europa to the stars near Alpha Centauri. No one wanted to believe it. Billions tuned into live transmissions showing the silent orbit of the missing planet. The Galactic Council declared an emergency meeting. Alien diplomats from the core worlds accused humanity of hiding a weapon. Some claimed Earth had moved into another dimension. Others whispered it had been stolen by ancient beings from beyond the void. Admiral Rowe of the Terran fleet sent hundreds of ships to search for gravitational traces. Every ship returned with the same answer: nothing. Earth was gone, as if erased from existence. In the chaos, one person refused to give up. Captain Rhea Solin of the deep space vessel Odyssey 9 had grown up under the blue skies of old Earth. She couldn't accept its loss. She believed there was a signal hidden somewhere, an echo of the planet's presence. Rhea convinced the fleet to let her lead a final search mission near Jupiter's edge, where strange gravity waves had appeared right after Earth vanished. Her crew numbered only 9, but they were the best: engineers, navigators, scientists who still believed in home. As they crossed the orbit of Mars, the stars flickered. Space around them seemed heavier, bending light like glass. Rhea ordered a scan. The sensors showed something pulsing faintly in the emptiness, a heartbeat in the void. "Lock on," she said. The moment the ship approached, a massive energy surge erupted. The Odyssey 9 vanished from every radar. No explosion, no wreckage. It simply blinked out of existence, just like Earth. The Federation searched for years. They found nothing. And slowly, humanity accepted the truth. Their home was lost forever. Centuries passed. Civilizations rose and fell. New powers ruled the stars. The story of the missing planet became legend. Some said Earth had been cursed. Some said it had transcended into another plane. Children in alien schools grew up hearing the myth of the vanishing planet. Then, 1,000 years later, space around Sol began to tremble again. Deep scanners from the core systems picked up a massive gravitational distortion near the old orbit of Earth. Ships rushed to investigate. At first, they saw only ripples of light. But then, through the waves, a familiar blue sphere began to appear. Oceans glimmered. Clouds formed. The moon, which had orbited alone for a millennium, began to shine brighter as if calling to its partner. Earth had returned. But it was not the same. The color of its seas was deeper, glowing faintly with unknown energy. Its magnetic field pulsed in rhythms no science could explain. And its skies shimmered even in the dark side, as if the planet was breathing light. All over the galaxy, systems went on alert. Fleets surrounded the Sol system, afraid and curious. Every power wanted to claim the miracle world, but something else was happening. Across every satellite and starship, a strange whisper echoed through the comms, a sound like a human voice speaking from the core of the planet. The words were faint, but everyone who heard them felt the same chill. The message said, "I remember you." And then, every machine went silent. The Galactic Council panicked. They feared the planet might be some kind of weapon or trap. Yet despite the danger, no one could ignore what had returned. Humanity's birthplace was back, alive, glowing and waiting. Captain Lyra Vale, commander of the exploration ship Aegis, stood on her bridge watching the blue light fill her screen. "It's really there," she whispered, "after all this time." But deep inside her, she knew this was not a simple return. The way the stars bent around the planet, the strange pull of its gravity, it was like Earth had brought something back with it, something that had been sleeping for 1,000 years. The galaxy held its breath, unaware that the balance of everything, gravity, time, and life, was about to break. 1,000 years after the disappearance, Earth hung in space once again, beautiful, silent, and glowing with strange blue light. Every satellite, every ship, every eye in the galaxy turned toward it. The home of humanity was back, but this Earth was not the same. The oceans shone like liquid crystal. The clouds moved in strange circular patterns like breathing. Even its night side was not dark. It shimmered faintly, as if the planet's core was alive. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. Delegates from every species argued for hours. Who owned Earth now? Should anyone land on it? Some said it was dangerous, that the planet might be a trap. Others believed it was a sign that humanity's time had come again. Captain Lyra Vale sat in her ship, Aegis, orbiting close to the glowing world. She was chosen to lead the first observation mission. Her crew stared at the planet in awe. Many of them were descendants of humans who had never seen their ancestral home. For them, this was more than science. It was a return of identity. Lyra ordered her science officer Wren to scan the surface. The readings made no sense. The continents looked right. Asia, Africa, the Americas, but their surfaces pulsed with energy patterns like veins under skin. "There's power coming from everywhere," Wren said quietly. "It's not electrical or thermal. It's biological," Lyra frowned. "Are you saying the planet is alive?" Wren hesitated. "Maybe. Or maybe something inside it is." Every few hours, the planet sent out a faint pulse, a rhythmic wave that moved through space like a heartbeat. The first few pulses were small. Then one night, a massive surge spread across the solar system, knocking out every ship's communication system. When the systems came back online, every radio channel echoed with a faint whisper, the same message heard before. "I remember you." Lyra felt her heart race. The voice sounded human, but deeper, older, almost like 1,000 voices speaking as one. Across the galaxy, panic began to spread. Fleets from rival empires rushed towards Sol. Some wanted to claim Earth as their prize. Others wanted to destroy it before it could threaten the galaxy again. The Council sent warning beacons. "Do not enter Earth's atmosphere. Unknown risk." But greed and curiosity are stronger than fear. The first to ignore the warning was an alien warlord named Korma from the Vok Empire. His fleet entered Earth's orbit with massive dreadnoughts. His ships launched drones into the atmosphere. For a few minutes, they sent back data. Images of cities half buried under crystal-like growths, forests glowing with blue light, and rivers that flowed upward into the sky. Then, suddenly, the feed went dark. One by one, Korma's ships began to lose power. Engines failed. Weapons shut down. The planet's magnetic field surged again, stronger than before. "Retreat!" shouted his commanders. But it was too late. A wave of light burst from the planet and wrapped around the fleet. Every ship went silent. When the light faded, nothing remained. No wreckage, no radiation, no trace of the invaders. Across the galaxy, silence fell. Billions watched in horror. Earth had defended itself, without any weapons, without warning. The Council realized the truth. Earth was no longer just a world. It had become something else, something aware. Lyra's crew watched as new energy storms formed over the planet's surface. Lightning shaped like symbols spread across the skies, unknown runes glowing for seconds before vanishing. Wren analyzed them and found something strange. "They're not random," he said. "It's language. Can you translate it?" Lyra asked. Wren nodded slowly. "One word keeps repeating. Return. Lyra felt a chill run through her. The planet wasn't just reacting. It was speaking. She turned toward the viewing window, watching the swirling blue light around the Earth's poles. "It's calling to us," she whispered. "It wants someone to come back." The council voted to send unmanned probes. Every single one vanished within minutes. Then, in a move that shocked the galaxy, Lyra made a decision against orders. She gathered a small team, 4 humans and 1 alien engineer, and prepared a shuttle for descent. As they entered the upper atmosphere, the blue light thickened like fog. Their instruments went wild, spinning out of control. Then the fog cleared, revealing a world both familiar and alien. The old continents were still there, but the land glowed faintly under their ship's light. Trees taller than skyscrapers waved in silent wind. The ruins of old human cities stood like ghosts, wrapped in glowing vines. Then Lyra saw something moving. Human figures, walking through the light. They looked normal, alive, wearing simple white suits. But their eyes shone with the same blue glow as the planet. "Are they people?" Ren asked. Lyra didn't answer. The figures turned toward the sky, looking directly at the descending ship, as if they already knew she was coming. The ship's communication system crackled again. This time the voice was clearer, closer, almost human. "Welcome home," Lyra froze. The voice wasn't coming from the radio. It was inside her head. The ship's power flickered. The planet pulsed one more time, brighter than ever before. Every star in the system dimmed for a moment, then came back to life. When Lyra looked again, the glowing figures had vanished. The earth below shimmered, and for a heartbeat, she saw the reflection of a massive shadow moving beneath the surface, deep under the crust, like something ancient waking from a long sleep. "Captain," Ren whispered, "something is alive under there." Lyra stared at the glowing oceans and whispered back, "I think it's waiting for us." Captain Lyra Vale couldn't sleep. The words, "welcome home," kept echoing in her mind. No one else on her ship had heard the voice, yet everyone felt the same strange pressure inside their heads, like someone was watching from below the surface. For days, the Aegis stayed in low orbit. They sent probes, scanned the surface, and tried to contact the Council. But their messages never reached beyond Earth's atmosphere. It was as if the planet had wrapped itself in an invisible shield. Lyra stood on the bridge, staring at the glowing world. "It's not letting signals out," she said quietly. "It wants us to listen, not talk." Ren, the science officer, had been decoding strange energy waves from the planet. They weren't random. They had rhythm, almost like speech. He played a recording. The sound was deep and layered, 1,000 tones blending into one. "It's a voice," Ren said. "And it's speaking in human patterns." Lyra felt a chill run through her. "What is it saying?" Ren looked unsure. "It keeps repeating one line, 'I remember you.' But there's more hidden under it, data, coordinates, and symbols." He zoomed in on the waveform, and suddenly the message became clear. It pointed to a location, not on Earth, but deep in space, near Proxima Centauri. The coordinates matched an old human listening post, long abandoned since before Earth vanished. The Council had erased it from their maps centuries ago. Lyra stared at the display. "It's calling us there." The crew didn't want to leave. The planet had already destroyed fleets and erased signals, but Lyra's instincts told her this was the key. "If Earth sent that message, we need to know why," she said. Against orders, she set a course for Proxima Centauri. The ship broke orbit, engines trembling as they pushed through the strange energy surrounding Earth. For a few seconds, every system flickered, and Lyra heard the voice again. "Find what was left behind." Then the light faded, and the ship jumped into deep space. The journey took 2 days. When the Aegis reached the coordinates, they found a cold, silent structure floating near a dead star. The station was massive, built from ancient Terran metal, a design no one had seen in 1,000 years. "Are you sure this place is human?" Ren asked. Lyra nodded. "The markings are old Terran symbols. This is ours." They docked and entered the station. The corridors were frozen in time. Dust floated in zero gravity. Control panels still flickered with faint blue light. It was as if someone had kept the power running for all those centuries. As they moved deeper, they saw writing scratched into the walls, English words, messy and desperate. It followed us. "Do not open the core. The planet remembers." Ren's voice shook. The station. It was here when Earth vanished. At the heart of the station, they found a sealed chamber. Inside, it was a single pod covered in frost. A faint heartbeat sound came from within. Lyra wiped the frost from the glass and froze. Inside the pod was a woman in a Terran fleet uniform. Her name tag read Captain Rhea Solin. Ren gasped. "That's impossible." She vanished the same day Earth disappeared. The systems on the pod were still active. Time inside had been frozen, preserving her for 1,000 years. Lyra activated the release mechanism. The pod hissed open, and Rhea's eyes snapped open with a gasp of air. "Where am I?" she whispered. Her voice was weak, but her eyes burned with life. Lyra knelt beside her. "You're safe, Captain. You've been in stasis for a long time." "I'm Captain Lyra Vale, Terran Fleet." Rhea looked around, confused.
"How long?"
Lyra hesitated. 1,000 years. Rhea's expression turned from confusion to horror. "Then it worked. But not how we planned." Lyra helped her sit up. "What do you mean?" Rhea took a deep breath. "Earth didn't vanish by accident. We made it disappear. We had no choice." Everyone stared in silence. Rhea continued, her voice shaking. "We discovered something near Jupiter, a hole in space, a living void. It started eating light, pulling gravity itself. We called them the Void Architects, beings that could rewrite the laws of the universe. To save the planet, we activated the temporal gate, moving Earth 1,000 years forward in time." Ren whispered, "You hid the entire planet in the future." Rhea nodded slowly. "Yes, but the architects followed. They attached themselves to Earth's gravity field. When we came back, they came with us." Lyra stepped back in shock. "Then the energy, the voice, the storms, it's them?" "No," Rhea said quietly. "That's Earth. It's fighting back. The planet itself remembers what happened. It's trying to protect us, but the architects are inside it now." A heavy silence filled the room. Lyra's communicator beeped suddenly. It was an automated signal from the Aegis. "Captain, sensors show gravitational spikes around Earth. The core is destabilizing. And there's something else, multiple distortions forming near the system's edge." Rhea's eyes widened. "They're coming." Lyra turned to her. "Who?" Rhea looked toward the stars outside the station window. Her voice was barely a whisper. "The architects. They found Earth again." The alarms on the Aegis screamed through the comms. The station lights flickered, and far away, beyond Seoul, the stars began to twist, as if something enormous was bending reality itself, moving closer. Lyra grabbed Rhea's hand. "Then we fight." Rhea looked at her and nodded. "Then we finish what we started." The alarms echoed through the silent corridors of the old station. Captain Lyra Vale and Captain Rhea Solin stood side by side, staring at the main screen. Space itself was twisting. Stars near Earth stretched like threads of light, as if someone was pulling at the fabric of the galaxy. The Aegis's sensors screamed in warning. Ren's voice came through the comms, tight with fear. "Captain, gravitational waves are rising fast. Whatever's coming, it's not natural." Rhea stepped forward, her voice calm but heavy. "It's them. The Void Architects." Lyra turned toward her. "You said they followed Earth through time. What are they?" Rhea's eyes were distant. "They are not life as we understand it. They are structures of thought and matter. They feed on the order of the universe. Wherever they go, physics changes. Gravity weakens. Time bends. Planets fall apart." Ren's voice came again. "Captain, I'm detecting distortions near Earth's North Pole. They're forming shapes, moving." Lyra clenched her jaw. "Rhea, if Earth was protected by that temporal gate, why bring it back?" Rhea sighed, closing her eyes. "We didn't bring it back. Earth brought itself." Lyra frowned. "What do you mean?" Rhea stepped closer to the window. "When we activated the temporal gate, the planet's core was fused with an experimental device made of Earth's own soil and magnetic memory. It was designed to carry Earth through time safely. But the gate was damaged. The core absorbed the energy. Earth developed something new, a consciousness. Lyra's crew went silent. You're saying the planet became alive? Ren asked through the comms. Rhea nodded slowly. Alive and aware. It remembers everything. That's why it spoke, I remember you. It's not a metaphor. The planet remembers humanity, remembers the war, remembers the architects. That's why it returned, to defend itself. Lyra looked at her in disbelief. But how can a planet think? Rhea answered quietly. It doesn't think like us. It feels, it reacts. Every ocean current, every magnetic pulse, it's part of its mind. The Earth we knew is gone. What came back is something more. Outside the window, the dead star pulsed faintly. Then a shadow moved across it, a shape vast and formless, glowing with cold silver light. The architects had arrived, Lyra whispered. What do they want? Rhea stared at the forming shapes. They want the memory. Earth holds the last pure pattern of the old universe. If they consume it, everything will change. Gravity, light, even life itself. Lyra turned to her crew. We need to warn the Council. Ren shouted, We can't! The signal's blocked again. Earth's field is expanding. The station began to shake. Rhea grabbed the console and pulled a small metallic cube from her pocket. It glowed faintly, carved with strange runes. What's that? Lyra asked. Rhea held it tightly. A piece of Earth's core. I took it when we activated the gate. It's the only thing they fear. It carries the original gravity signature of our universe, the code that defines real space. Lyra's eyes widened. It's a weapon? Rhea shook her head. No, it's balance. If used right, it can reset everything the architects have twisted. But it's dangerous. If it overloads, it could erase entire systems. The station trembled harder. A deep hum filled the walls. The stars outside bent into spirals. They're close, Rhea said. They're searching for the core piece. They can feel it. Lyra helped Rhea toward the docking bay. Then we take it back to Earth. Maybe it can connect with the planet again. Rhea nodded. If Earth absorbs this fragment, it might remember everything, who it was, what it was meant to be. They ran through the flickering corridors. The air shimmered as if reality was tearing. Strange metallic patterns formed on the walls, glowing shapes that pulsed like veins. The architects were reaching into the station, rewriting matter. Ren's voice shouted over the comms. Captain, the distortions are spreading. The station is collapsing. Lyra and Rhea entered the shuttle bay and jumped into the small transport craft. The moment they undocked, the station began to fold in on itself, twisting silently until it vanished into a thin thread of light. The shuttle sped toward the Aegis, engines screaming. Behind them, the void glowed, not black, but silver, alive with shifting geometric figures. Ren's voice came through, broken and static. Captain, you need to see this. Earth's surface. It's changing! Lyra looked at the screen. The continents were glowing like circuits. Massive rings of energy spun around the planet, rising into the atmosphere. The entire world looked like it was powering up. Rhea's eyes widened. It's remembering. What's it doing? Lyra asked. Rhea stared at the light. It's unlocking the memory within, the one that kept it alive through the void. It's trying to wake fully. Then the voice came again, louder, clearer, filling every system in the ship. You brought them back. Lyra's blood ran cold. It's talking to us. The voice continued, echoing like thunder through their minds. You brought the architects home. They seek my core. You must choose, shield or reset. Lyra didn't understand. What does that mean? Rhea closed her eyes, pain on her face. It means Earth wants to know if we want to save this version of the galaxy, or erase everything and start over. Outside, the first architect fully emerged, a towering shape of light and metal, moving like liquid geometry. Its voice was not sound but vibration. Space itself bent as it spoke. Give us the memory, or all will unmake. Lyra gripped the controls. Not today. The Aegis dove through Earth's atmosphere, flames lighting the hull. Below them, the planet's surface pulsed brighter, opening a massive circular storm at the pole, a doorway of energy leading into the core itself. Rhea held the glowing cube tightly. That's where we go. That's where it all ends. As the ship descended, lightning shaped like ancient symbols flashed across the sky. The earth groaned, a sound not of rock but of will. The planet had awakened fully now, and it was ready to fight. The Aegis cut through Earth's thick glowing clouds. Lightning flashed around the ship, shaped like cymbals, each pulse echoing a deep hum that shook the metal hull. Captain Lyra Vale kept her hands firm on the controls as Rhea Solin held the glowing cube close to her chest. The cube pulsed in rhythm with the planet's energy. It was alive, answering Earth's call. Below them, storms covered the continents. Mountains moved like slow waves, and oceans rose higher than ever before. The planet wasn't being destroyed, it was defending itself. Ren's voice came through the comms, strained and panicked. "Captain, gravitational waves are off the charts. I don't even know how we're still in the sky." Rhea shouted over the noise. "We're inside the planet's defense field. It's rewriting gravity around us to keep us stable." Lyra looked out the cockpit window. Far above the clouds, shapes shimmered in the upper atmosphere, massive figures of silver and light. The Void Architects had arrived. They didn't move like living beings. They shifted and folded like reflections in broken glass, bending space wherever they passed. Each architect was the size of a continent, their forms made of metal that looked alive, flowing like water and fire at the same time. Ren whispered, "How do you fight something like that?" Rhea's voice was steady. "You don't fight their bodies. You fight what they control." The architects reached out invisible hands. Waves of force swept across the surface, lifting entire seas into the air. Cities that had stood silent for a millennium began to crack and float upward. The laws of physics were breaking. One of the architects lowered itself toward the planet's surface. Its voice wasn't sound. It was gravity itself speaking. "Surrender the memory." Earth answered with a pulse that tore through space, visible even from orbit. The air burned blue. The architects staggered back, bending and reforming like wounded storms. Rhea's cube glowed brighter. "It's using gravity as a weapon. Earth's controlling the very pull of space." Lyra pushed the ship downward, deeper into the storm. "Then we help it fight." They dived into the polar storm, where the gateway to the core waited. The Aegis rattled violently, its hull glowing red-hot. Outside, lightning shaped like spirals chased them, almost guiding their path. Ren's voice came over the comms. "Captain, I'm picking up energy spikes from the surface. Something's forming below the ice." The clouds parted, revealing a colossal circular structure half buried beneath frozen land. It looked like a ring made of silver stone, miles wide, covered in glowing runes. In the center burned a beam of blue light reaching straight into space. Rhea's eyes widened. "That's the gravity forge, the core of the temporal gate. That's where Earth's consciousness was born." Lyra guided the ship down, landing near the edge of the glowing ring. The ground trembled under them, and the snow turned to steam. The moment they stepped outside, the air felt thick, like it had weight. Every breath carried a deep hum. Rhea held out the cube, and the ground responded, the light of the ring pulsing in time with the cube's rhythm. Lyra asked, "What happens if we return the fragment?" Rhea's voice was calm but heavy. "If it merges, Earth will remember everything. It will either stabilize the galaxy's gravity or restart it from the beginning." Lyra stared at her. "Restart it?" Rhea nodded. "A total reset. Everything that exists could be rewritten. Planets, stars, time itself. It's the last defense." Before Lyra could answer, the sky cracked open. One of the architects descended, its body shifting like molten glass. Its presence bent the landscape, mountains flattened, and rivers lifted into the air. "We are the architects. We shape the void. We will unmake your memory." Lyra aimed the Aegis's rail cannons. "Fire!" The ship unleashed bursts of plasma that tore through the air. The beams hit the architect's surface, but the creature's body folded around them, absorbing the energy like it was nothing. The architect reached out, and space bent in its hand. The ship was pulled upward, engines screaming. Rhea gritted her teeth, holding the cube high. "Earth, remember who you are!" The ground beneath her erupted with blue light. The ring's symbols flared, and a shockwave blasted through the sky. The architect's arm shattered into fragments of metal and light, twisting into the void. Earth roared, a deep, echoing sound that came from everywhere at once. The oceans responded, rising in massive waves. Gravity reversed, pulling meteors from orbit to strike the invaders. Lyra's crew stared in awe. The planet was fighting back with the force of existence itself. Ren shouted, "More of them are coming!" At least 7 signatures entering the system. Rhea looked toward the horizon, where the stars bent into spirals. Then the real war begins. The architects reformed above the planet, linking together like a network of silver threads across the sky. They began to pull light itself inward, draining energy from nearby stars. The sun dimmed. Lyra shouted, "They're collapsing the system!" Rhea placed the cube in the center of the glowing ring. "Then we use this now." The cube sank slowly into the platform, merging with the symbols. The light grew brighter until the entire area burned white. The ground shook violently, and for a moment, gravity vanished. Everything, rocks, snow, even the ship, floated in midair. Then, a single heartbeat echoed across the world. Boom! A blue wave of light exploded from the pole, spreading across every continent, every ocean, every orbit. The architects screamed, their bodies twisting violently. One by one they broke apart, their forms scattering like dust into the void. But as the waves spread outward, space itself began to distort. Stars shifted positions. Time slowed. Reality flickered like a dying flame. Ren shouted, "It's too much!" "The Forge can't control it." Rhea screamed over the storm. "It's choosing! Earth is rewriting gravity itself." Lyra grabbed the controls and fought to stabilize the ship. "Then we make sure it remembers us." The planet's voice filled their minds again, louder and clearer than ever before. "I remember my children. I remember my makers. I will hold the balance." The light faded slowly. The architects were gone. The storm weakened. The Aegis floated above the quiet pole, its hull scarred but intact. Rhea stood silently, tears on her face. It worked. For now. Lyra looked at her. "You said the Forge could erase everything. Why didn't it?" Rhea smiled weakly. "Because Earth chose mercy." But as they rose back into orbit, Ren's sensors flashed one more time. "Captain, you need to see this." On the far side of the planet, where the storm had cleared, a new pattern glowed across the land, a perfect circle of light, slowly rotating. Lyra whispered, "What is that?" Rhea looked closer and felt her heart sink. "A wound," she said softly. "The architects are gone, but they left a mark. The stars were no longer where they belonged. Entire constellations had shifted. Moons orbited the wrong planets. And at the center of it all, Earth glowed with a faint blue ring, the mark left after the war for gravity. From orbit, Captain Lyra Vale stared at the silent planet. It looked peaceful, almost asleep, but her instruments told a different story. Gravitational currents still rippled through space, bending light and pulling. Debris into strange, orbiting patterns. Ren's voice broke the silence. "Captain, we just received a transmission. Multiple fleets are on the move. The Galactic Council has declared Earth a threat to existence." Lyra's jaw tightened. "How many ships?" "Hundreds, maybe thousands. Every major species is converging. They think Earth caused the stellar drift." Rhea Solin stood beside the control panel, the faint blue glow of the Gravity Forge crystal still pulsing in her palm. "They're right, in a way," she said quietly. Earth's reawakening shifted the gravity web that holds the galaxy together. Planets are losing orbit. Empires are collapsing. "They're afraid," Lyra looked at her. "And fear always leads to war." Across the galaxy, chaos spread like wildfire. The Vor Dominion, whose empire had thrived near the galactic rim, watched their suns dim and drift away. Their emperor declared vengeance on humanity. Claiming Earth's return had broken the chain of cosmic order. The Zephyri Collective, a race of light-born beings, began to fracture as their world's magnetic fields unraveled. They saw Earth as an infection in the universal code, something that must be erased before all dimensions fell apart. Even the human colonies on Mars, Titan, and Kepler-9 started to panic. Their leaders feared Earth's growing power. Some demanded Earth's destruction before it consumed the rest of humankind. Lyra listened to the reports coming in, one after another. Every message carried the same warning. Earth must fall before the galaxy collapses. The Aegis descended through Earth's upper atmosphere, where storms still shimmered with faint blue arcs of energy. Rhea could feel the planet's heartbeat again, slower now, but heavy, with something new. "It's learning," she whispered. "Adapting to what happened." Lyra turned to her. "Then we need to know what it's planning. Because if it moves again, even once, the galaxy might not survive." As the ship passed over the ruins of ancient cities, the crew saw something strange. The ground below was changing. Huge geometric structures were forming on their own, not built, but grown from the earth like crystals. They rose hundreds of meters high, humming with a sound only machines should make. Wren scanned the formations. "Captain, these aren't natural. They're building something." "A network." Rhea's eyes widened. "A planetary lattice. It's recreating its defense grid. Earth's preparing for war." Hours later, in the dark void beyond Pluto, the first of the alien fleets appeared. Massive dreadnoughts from the Vor Dominion led the charge, their hulls black as obsidian and bristling with weapon arrays. Behind them came the shimmering shapes of Zephyri vessels, moving like living light through the dark. They formed a ring around the solar system, a noose tightening around Earth. The Vor commander's voice thundered across open channels. "Humanity has violated cosmic law. The balance must be restored. The world you call home will be erased." Lyra heard the transmission aboard the Aegis. Her crew watched silently as thousands of enemy ships filled the sky. Wren whispered, "That's not a fleet. That's an extinction order." Rhea clenched the glowing crystal tighter. "They don't understand. Earth isn't trying to destroy the galaxy. It's trying to fix it," Lyra replied. "Then we'll make them understand." She activated the defense protocols. Satellites long thought dead began to awaken, their signals pulsing with the same rhythm as Earth's core. The planet was coming alive again, one system at a time. From space, it looked like veins of light spreading across the continents, blue circuits forming on the surface of the Earth. The Vor fleet fired first. Thousands of plasma rounds cut through space, burning toward the planet. But before they reached the atmosphere, gravity twisted. The projectiles slowed, then stopped. Each one froze in the sky as if trapped by invisible hands. Rhea stared at the display. "It's protecting itself," Lyra nodded. "No, it's showing them what happens when you attack your maker." The frozen plasma bolts began to reverse direction. In a silent burst, they were thrown back toward the attacking fleet at impossible speed. Hundreds of alien ships exploded instantly, their wreckage spinning into the void. The Vor commander screamed into the comms, "Impossible!" "It controls gravity itself." Rhea's voice was calm. "It controls everything it remembers. And now it remembers war." But the victory was short-lived. The Zephyri fleet began forming a massive light matrix, a weapon designed to rewrite matter into energy. Its glow filled half the solar system. Even Earth's storms seemed to dim beneath its brilliance. Wren shouted, "They're going to collapse the sun. They'll kill us all." Lyra slammed her hand on the console. "Rhea, tell me that cube can stop it." Rhea looked at the crystal. It flickered weakly now, drained by the last battle. "If I connect it to the core, it might amplify Earth's defenses, or it might destroy the planet completely." Lyra made her choice instantly. "Do it." They dove into the storm again, racing toward the gravity forge. The skies burned silver as Zephyri energy beams struck the planet, ripping through clouds like blades of light. When they reached the forge, Rhea placed the cube on the ancient altar. "Earth," she whispered, "they're trying to erase you again." "Show them why you were feared," the planet answered. A beam of blue energy shot from the core, straight into space, cutting through the Zephyri light weapon. The entire matrix shattered like glass, scattering into fragments of light that fell across the stars. But the energy surge didn't stop. It spread outward, touching every ship, every satellite, every moon. For one brief moment, all communication stopped. The galaxy fell silent. Then a voice, deep, calm and ancient, echoed through every channel. I was lost for 1,000 years. Now I am awake. The balance is mine to keep. Rhea fell to her knees. It's talking to all of them. Lyra looked toward the sky, where fleets now drifted in confusion and fear. And now, she said, they'll know what it means to defy Earth. The solar system was silent. Where moments ago fleets had filled the darkness, now only fragments drifted. The stars glowed dimly, their light bent by the invisible waves of power still radiating from Earth. Inside the Aegis, Captain Lyra Vale stood before the main viewport. Her reflection merged with the pale blue glow of the planet below. Earth no longer looked broken. Its continents pulsed faintly like veins under living skin. Ren's voice was soft, uncertain. There's no more transmissions. Every empire. They stopped. Rhea Solon didn't answer. She was listening, and not to the ship, not to her crew, but to something deeper. The gravity-forged crystal still floated in the air near her, glowing steadily now. Earth isn't angry anymore, she whispered. It's remembering, Lyra frowned. Remembering what? Rhea turned to face her, eyes shining with reflected blue light. As what it was before the war, what we made it become. In orbit, the surviving ships of the alien fleets waited. The Vor, the Zafari, even the few human colonies that had joined the attack, none dared to move. They all listened to the same voice, echoing across the stars. I remember my creation, the breath of life, the rise of those who named themselves human. Every word carried weight. Gravity itself rippled with the sound. The entire galaxy felt it. You left me. You forgot me. But I waited for 1,000 years. I waited for your return. Lyra gripped the railing as the voice filled her mind. It wasn't just sound, it was memory. She saw flashes of ancient Earth, forests growing after war, oceans healing, cities buried under time. And then she saw the day it vanished. 1,000 years ago, the world had disappeared in an instant, leaving behind only empty orbit. Scientists called it a gravitational collapse. But now the truth was clear. Earth had hidden itself, folding away from reality to survive. Rhea whispered, it wasn't destroyed. It was protecting itself from us. In the Aegis's control room, the instruments began flashing again. A new gravitational pulse was forming, stronger than any before. Ren shouted, Captain, it's starting to rise. The entire planet is moving. On the screen, Earth's orbit began to shift, drifting slightly upward, breaking the normal pull of the sun. The blue ring that encircled it grew brighter, like an eye opening wide. Lyra's voice trembled. What's it doing? Rhea placed her hand on the console. It's rebalancing the galaxy, fixing what was broken when it came back. Ren looked terrified. Fixing it? Or rewriting it? Rhea didn't answer. Because deep down she didn't know. Far beyond the solar system, the effect began to spread. Stars that had drifted returned to their paths. Worlds that had cracked began to heal. But with every correction, something else vanished. Traces of history, fragments of civilizations, even memories themselves. The Vor Emperor watched his homeworld stabilize, only to realize half his empire's systems no longer existed. The Zephyri collective reformed their energy bodies, but many of their kind were simply gone, erased like forgotten dreams. Earth was not just restoring balance. It was choosing what deserved to remain. Rhea felt the weight in her chest. It's judging us, she said quietly. It's deciding who stays and who doesn't. Lyra stared at her. You mean it could erase all of us? Rhea nodded slowly. If it believes we broke the balance beyond repair. Yes, the ship shook violently as a beam of light rose from the planet, cutting through space like a blade. It reached the galactic core itself, linking the stars together in a single glowing web. Every species felt it. Every mind heard the same whisper, you built me, you broke me. Now I rebuild what must be. Lyra shouted over the roar. Rhea! Can we stop it? Rhea shook her head. We can't stop it, but maybe we can remind it why it loved us. She took the crystal and placed it in the center of the ship's core. The Aegis's systems fused with it instantly. lights flickering as if the ship itself came alive. Rhea closed her eyes, reaching out through the crystal's energy, connecting her mind to Earth's consciousness. She saw everything, the planet's memories, the pain of war, the silence of exile, and then she spoke. Earth, you are more than balance. You are home. You are where we learned love, loss, and hope. Don't erase what you created. Forgive us. For a long moment, nothing happened. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then the blue light softened. The storms faded. The gravitational waves stopped. Earth's voice came again, this time quiet, almost human. Home. The planet's glow dimmed, and the orbit stabilized once more. The other world stopped shifting. The light web dissolved into stardust. Lyra fell to her knees, relief flooding her chest. It listened. Rhea smiled faintly, tears falling down her face. It remembered love. Hours later, the galactic fleets withdrew, their leaders silent. None dared to speak against Earth again. They had witnessed something beyond power, something divine. Lyra stood on the Aegis's deck, watching the planet turn slowly beneath her. Clouds swirled softly over the continents, and for the first time in 1,000 years, Earth was truly alive. Wren broke the silence. "Captain, do you think it forgave us?" Lyra didn't answer right away. She looked at the glowing sphere, a world reborn. "Maybe forgiveness isn't the word," she said finally. "Maybe it just gave us one more chance." Rhea nodded quietly. "And if we waste it, it won't need to destroy us. We'll do it ourselves." The crew watched in silence as Earth rotated, the sun's light reflecting off the oceans like silver fire, and somewhere deep below the surface, in the heart of the gravity forge, a final message pulsed in faint light, unreadable, but filled with warmth. "Remember who you are.